More than 100 million Americans experience various allergies each year, and that's about a quarter of adults. And with warmer winters, climate experts say that across North America, pollen season becomes about 20 days longer and 20% more intense over the last 40 years. Now, here in our state, allergy season has grown by about 17 days, with high local levels of tree pollen reported right now. So Dr. Doraiswamy, an allergist with the Poly Clinic, joining us live with preventative tips and treatments. Dr. Doraiswamy, good to have you with us this morning.
Well, thanks for having me, Bill. Thanks to you and Q13 Fox for giving me the opportunity to talk to you and your listeners to take some preventive tips for a good allergy season.
So let's just baseline it. What are some of the causes of seasonal allergies?
So allergies, as we define, is a very unique way that our body reacts to something in the environment. We make an antibody to something external. In this case, we're talking something in the air that we breathe. When we talk about seasonal allergies, we think about, what's the different seasons: spring, summer, fall, and winter. And usually, the allergies that we typically consider seasonal are pollens. These are things from plants, trees, grasses, and weeds. So when they start blooming, you'll start to, when you're outdoors, you start to breathe it in, and it'll start to affect the areas that you're exposed to: the nose, the eyes, the throat, and the lungs in some people.
And we mentioned that allergy season is getting longer and more intense for some folks. So what kinds of preventative measures or treatments are available that you would recommend?
Yeah, that's a great question, and certainly I think there are certain important things and simple things that people can do to make their season much better. Firstly is to recognize if they have allergies. Usually when I see my patients, they start to see a pattern. There's a certain time of the year they start to feel, they initially think it's a cold, but once it happens every year, then it's more not just a cold, it's an allergy. So when the main thing to do is to, with allergy season is to maximize your time outdoors is to do a few things. One, when you're outdoors, you could think about, wearing a mask. Second, if you're mowing the lawn, after you're done mowing the lawn, maybe come indoors, change your clothes, take a shower, wash your hair, so you're not taking the pollens inside. The time to maximize outdoors would also mean when you're indoors, try and see if you can keep your windows and doors closed so that you're kind of preventing the pollens from coming inside. So at least that gives your body a break so that when you go outdoors, you have a little bit more time that you can enjoy. And watch out for the pollen. You can look at pollen.com or weather.com and look at the pollen season. Sometimes they can be misleading because you could be allergic to something else, not necessarily what's blooming at that point of time. And there are medicines, there are excellent medicines that are there that are over the counter that you could use. And sometimes doing this ahead of time before the season starts. These days, nasal steroids are available, are very effective. But the key thing to remember over there for your listeners is it doesn't work right away. You need to stay on it for the entire duration of the season for it to be effective.
That is great information. Dr. Doraiswamy from the Poly Clinic, thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
Well, again, thank you so much for the opportunity.